Folks, Quill18 here. I'm currently away from home, operating from my laptop in my parents' home as we celebrate the holidays, but I just had to sneak in here and check out what the Steam sale of the day is. So let's take a look real quick. We have Wings of Prey. Wings of Prey is actually a fun airplane combat flight sim game that's fairly accessible. It's not one of these really hardcore, complicated ones, and for $5 is actually pretty nice. I always like the idea of flight sims, but I'm not very good at them, nor do I have like a really good joystick or yoke setup or anything like that. But Wings of Prey should be pretty easy for just about anyone to jump into. Next, we've got Jamestown, which is a one of those like shoot 'em up games, like a top view shooter flight sim that does have local co-op and nice little indie game. Supposed to be lots of fun for $2.49. You can't really go wrong, and it is one of the games up for the draw, the achievements on Steam. Which we'll look at after the fact, if I remember. Company of Heroes is a wonderful RTS series. Let's pick one up here and put in a birth date. Sure, 1909, that seems reasonable. I think RTS is the thing, or am I thinking of a different game, which is entirely possible. Look at this, 93 Metascore. Yeah, it is by Relic Entertainment. Wonderful World War II experience. Advanced squad AI, and they mean it. Like they interact with the environment in a really nice way. It tells a great thematic World War II story. And yeah, I do own it. I've played it. I enjoy it quite a lot. Wow, $1.99. And if you want the gold pack, which includes the 2 expansions, $5.99. And yeah, it's actually a great deal. Even just at $1.99, this will keep you entertained for a couple of days. It's not a new game. It came out in 2006, but it still stands up perfectly fine today. It's a real time strategy, squad based tactical. A lot of use of cover in the environment and capturing objectives, and it's very, very nice. Let's move forward to the next one. We've got Hard Reset, which I remember being kind of excited when this was coming out. It's a very, it was a very promising sort of, I don't know, somewhat futuristic shooter game with some really nice graphics, actually. Now, I don't know what the Metascore on this thing was. 73, which is not great, but it's not terrible, and it probably means it's a fun couple of days playing through the game. And it's got a definite sci-fi feel. Again, that's sort of Deus Ex or Shadowrun type of sci-fi environment, futuristic environment, and it's a good way to spend some time. So a bunch of the Tom Clancy games are up for sale. These are always really good, either squad-based or stealth-based type of tactical combat, maybe semi-first-person, third-person shooter, depending on which variant of the game you're looking at. But, I mean, the Tom Clancy games are fairly well known, so you'll kind of know either way if it's your sort of thing. I don't know how much the individual games are, but at 75% off, you're almost certainly getting a great game. Prototype came out at the same time as Infamous, I'm thinking, and they were both sort of kind of similarly themed. And that you're a guy with weird powers in kind of an open sandboxy city, and you can play a fairly violent game. And this guy had the ability to sort of stretch and reach out and do all kinds of fun, interesting things. So they're calling it an action-adventure type game, and that's it. I think it's very free-roaming, very big world to sort of go and do kind of parkour-y things in, and also kill all the people with your horrible mutated weaponry. Next up, Blood Bowl. Now, Blood Bowl is an awesome game. This is actually, all right, there's the Warhammer 40K games, which is, say, the original, which is miniatures war game that you play on tabletop. And in that world, in that theme, they created this Blood Bowl game, which was this sport that used all the competing sides. It's basically American-style football, except with horrible, horrible violence. For example, if you're an orc team and you're playing against the elf team, now the elves are very fast, very agile, very dexterous. They're going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to pass the ball. They're going to try to score as many touchdowns as possible. The orcs are probably going to take a slightly different approach, which is they're going to attempt to murder every other player on the enemy team until the enemy team doesn't have enough players left to field a squad, and will have to forfeit the game. It doesn't matter how many points the elves score. If they're all dead by the end of the game, the orcs win. And there are multiple factions involved in this game, and It's actually like it's fun. You've got like the full season career mode. You can build your team. You can draft people. You can draft special all stars that are even like more unique races. Like if you're playing one of the small races, you can get these huge like tree ant guys or whatever, where one of their abilities is actually to pick up one of your players and throw him across the field. So you've got your like fast, agile, dexterous guy who's good at handling the ball, grabs the ball, runs over to the big guy. The big guy picks up your little guy, throws him across the field, and you hope you don't die when you land. Because if you do, you're going to score. It's actually quite nice. It does have multiplayer mode. The AI was originally kind of questionable. I think they've improved it somewhat. And even then, if you're an experienced Blood Bowl player, the AI might not be impressive. But if you're new to the game, it's actually going to kick your ass quite a few times. So that's pretty nice. It's got some life to it. Renegade Ops, I do not know much about it. It's single-player, multiplayer, co-op. And I believe it's sort of a real-time strategy, kind of sandboxy, and lots of destructible environment. Yeah, top-down view with lots of like gratuitous explosions, that sort of thing. Fair amount of humor and fun. 75 Metascore is not bad at all for something that you can pick up for $5. So I'm actually tempted to get this one myself, to be honest, but it's not one that's at the top of the pile. Borderlands. Okay. Borderlands is awesome. I did one episode of Let's Play. It's not very well synced. There's some latency issues. It just doesn't record well. Amazing game, especially if you can play this 4 players. It's like a more funny and more iconic version of Fallout 3. That sort of post-apocalyptic wasteland, quest-based sort of open world, lots of roaming, with 4 distinct character types, and you can play up to 4-player co-op. And it's a blast, it's fun, it's hilarious, it's really good on PC. It's also available for consoles, but you know, it's a first-person shooter, so it's automatically much, much better on PC. Really, I highly recommend Borderlands. Lots of fun. It's not one of the greatest games of all time, but it's pretty good, and for $5, it's almost certainly your must-buy. Risen, I don't know much about. At all, actually. What is this Risen? Rated M. 77 Metascore, that's not bad. It looks RPG-ish to me. Side quests and creatures to discover, 60 hours of open-world gameplay. This sounds pretty good. I actually don't know much about this game. Listen, if you've played Risen, leave some notes in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let the other people know what you think, and maybe we can make a good decision there. It is still $14.99 for a game I don't know much about. It's probably a pass unless you're really, really into RPGs. That being said, what do we have here? Skyrim, which is still freaking new, still freaking huge, although I suppose most of the people who wanted Skyrim have already bought it. And it's only 33% off, and it's 33% off a full-priced PC game. So despite being on sale, it's still $40, but it's Skyrim, which is awesome. It's had some patches so far. It's already got some mods out. It's got a great support. If for some reason you've been waiting for Skyrim, now's your chance to buy it. I don't think it's going to get any cheaper anytime soon. So if you're not buying it right now for this sale, you're probably waiting another year for next year's Christmas sale, and maybe there'll be like a Game of the Year edition that's on sale, which may be better. But that's a whole year without playing it. If you think you're going to be playing Skyrim anytime in the next say 10 months, now's your time to buy it. And it is a really, really good game. I can complain about certain aspects of the Elder Scrolls series for pages and pages and pages of text, but Skyrim is very, very good and very, very enjoyable, and it's definitely a high-ranking game. There's some debate as to whether it would deserve Game of the Year status or not, but it's definitely in the top 5 releases of the year. There's no doubt about it. Can't go wrong purchasing Skyrim despite the price. Plants vs. Zombies is a super popular, super fun tower defense type game. Very popular on the iPad, also on the computer. It is a hell of a way to kill a few hours, and it's a pretty cheap price. So there you have it. I have to say that the must-buy for today is kind of unclear. Probably Borderlands, I would say, actually. And Skyrim would be in the must-buy list, except that it is still $40, so it's beyond the sort of impulse buy price. You have to be serious. You can't just buy it on the whim. You have to be serious about playing this game. if you're going to lay down $40. But it's an amazing game and is quite possibly worthwhile. Let's take a quick look at the achievements for today. Most of them will be on games that are on sale, but some of them may just be for other cheap games. Crimecraft. Crimecraft, I believe, is an MMO, like a gang-style MMO that has gone free to play, if I recall correctly. So you may be able to do this without laying down any money. This game does require achievement does require a game from today's sale, the hard reset. So does Jamestown. Luckily, the Jamestown is cheap. Complete any mission playing as a red charge ship. Well, that sounds easy. 50 enemies with electricity only. Sounds like fun. Tells you a little something about hard reset, I think. Birds of Prey, it's winter. Complete any mission on winter locations. Sounds pretty simple. Naughty or nice. Receive a present from Santa Claus. Cold Strike DLC required. So for Renegade Ops, you not only need Renegade Ops, you need the DLC to get it to work. It's kind of sketchy. And yet it moves. Oh, see, and that's not one of the specific sales today, but it looks like it's 75% off during the entire Steam sale, so for $249 it's pretty cheap. And yet it moves is a really good physics-based puzzle game. And at some point we're going to have to do a check of all the things that are on sale that haven't come up for a sale for the day, because this is actually a pretty good purchase to pick up. I'm actually going to recommend this one to a lot of people. If you like indie casual sort of puzzle type games, it's this beautiful sort of papercraft look to it. It's just very nice. It's a gravity-based physics thing. It's not a bad purchase at all if you like this sort of thing. Plus, you can get another piece of coal. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Everyone have yourself a happy holidays. I'm going to go and eat some dinner. See ya.